Wait, Dylan, are you in the championship?
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a girls' picture.
Oh, I don't know.
Number 1. The solution for this one. This breaks up as the square root of 16 and the square root of 2, so that'll be 4 square root of 2. That one's off. Answer should be A. Here is number 2. The solution for this one will break up as the square root of 9 and the square root of 2, so that's 4 times 3, which will be 12. 12 square root of 2, B. Number 3. This one breaks up simply as just 5 because it's a perfect square, so the answer would be D, 20. Number 4. The solution for this one, it breaks up as the square root of 9, square root of 2, and the square root of 9 is 3, so you'll have 3 times 3, which is 9, so 9 square root of 2. C would be the answer. Pick a number from 1 to 20 and drop it off. The winning numbers today should be 3, 8, 12, 16, and 19. Homework check, bring it up here. Show me what you have. Objective today is to simplify radical expressions again. Here's the first example. On this problem, it's similar to yesterday. I would have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root on the bottom. Top and the bottom by the square root of 3. So on the top, the 4 stays the same. And when you have square root of 3 times square root of 8, that is square root of 24. And then on the bottom, the square root of 3 times itself is simply 3. The square root sign disappears because this times this is the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. Now once you get to this point, you need to check out this right here and make sure that it can't be reduced. But in this case, it can. So the square root of 24 breaks up as 4 and 6. And you still have your 3 on the bottom. The square root of 4 is 2. And of course, 4 times 2 is 8. So you would end up with 8 square root of 6 over 3. Again, we multiplied the top and the bottom by the square root of 3 because this is where it appears. Then over here, square root of 8 times square root of 3 is square root of 24. The 4 just stays from right there. And when you multiply these two together, you end up with 3. Now the 24 breaks up because you can take out 4. It's a perfect square, the highest one that will come out of 24. The square root of 4 is 2. Multiply the 2 by the 4 that was there from the beginning to get 8. And of course your 3 stays. Nothing else can simplify, so that's your final answer. On the practice problem, you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 5 because that's what's on the bottom there. On the top, the 4 stays the same, and the square root of 20 square root of 5 is square root of 100. On the bottom, these two multiplied together is simply 5. For the 100, it's a perfect square, so the square root of 100 is 10. And 4 times 10 is 40, divided by 5 is 8. The bonus problem breaks up as square root of 4, square root of 5, and that should be 2 square root of 5. On this problem, it breaks up as a square root of 16, square root of 5, and that's 4 square root of 5 for the answer. For this practice problem, you can use the shortcut that we just did on the previous practice, or I showed you off camera. But the square root of 3 underneath the square root of 12, that's a fraction that you can simplify. 12 over 3 is 4, so it's 4 square root of 4. And 4 times the square root of 4 is really 4 times 2. So the answer is 8. The answer to the bonus should be 2 times 5, since this is a perfect square, and you come up with 10. Here's another bonus. The answer to this bonus, it'll be 3 times the square root of 9, which is also 3. So the answer is 9. Here's another bonus. The square root of 100 is 10, so you end up with 50. Example number 3. In this problem, the difference is that you now have a number beside the square root on the bottom. It does not change the operation of what you do. So you have a square root of 6 on the bottom. That means you still multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 6. And then simplify. On the top, the 5 stays the same. Square root of 2 times square root of 6 is square root of 12. And then on the bottom, your 3 stays, but square root of 6 times itself is 6. So you have 3 times 6 on the bottom. Of course, 3 times 6 on the bottom is going to be 18. But now you have that square root of 12 on the top to look at. The highest perfect square that goes into 12 is going to be 4. So it's going to break up as 4 and 3. And the square root of 4 is 2. And on the top you'll have 5 times 2 is 10. What can I do to fix this? Simplify, yes. What number goes into 2 or 10 and 18? 2. So if you divide 10 by 2, you'll get 5. And 18 by 2, you'll get 9. Example 4. On this one, you can use the shortcut because you have the square root of 12 over the square root of 4. The square root of 12 divided by the square root of 4 is square root of 3. So you would have the square root of 3 on top and then just the 5 on the bottom. That's it. It's already simplified. For the practice problem, you need to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 5. So that'll give you 4 square root of 30 on the top, and on the bottom, here's the original 5 on the bottom, but the multiplication of these two will give me a 5 as well. So that simplifies to 4 square root of 30 over 25. Remember, the 25 comes from right here. The bonus problem breaks up as 16 and 3. So you'll have 5 times 4 square root of 3, which is 20 square root of 3. Here's another bonus. The bonus problem breaks up as 16 and 5. So that would leave you with 3 times 4 square root of 5, which is 12 square root of 5. Here's another bonus. This one breaks up as 16 and 6, and you'll have 2 square root of 4, or not square root of 4, but just 4, and that goes to an 8, so 8 square root of 6. On the practice problem, you can use the shortcut here. 12 over 6 is going to be 2. So you can have square root of 2 on top and then 2 on the bottom, and that's it. It breaks up as square root of 4 and square root of 10. And the square root of 4 is 2. You multiply 10 by 2 to get 20, so it should be 20 square root of 10. Here's another bonus. The solution for this one is 5 square root of 25 times the square root of 3, and 5 times 5 is going to give me a 25. So 25 square root of 3. On this problem, you can multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 12, or you can use the shortcut in reverse. Square root of 4 over square root of 12. Square root of 4 over square root of 12 can simplify down to 3 over 5 square root of 3. Now you would have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3. So 3 square root of 3 over 5 times 3. So that's 3 square root of 3 over 15, and that would simplify down to the square root of 3 over 5. The solution for this is simply canceling here to get 1 over 2. You don't have to write the 1, it's just square root of 2 over 2. All you have to do on this one is to cancel here, and you'll come up with square root of 7 over 7.